A network of over 800 civil society organisations believes that building resilience depends on learning from people who face everyday disasters. Theirs are the unheard voices, and their challenges are often ignored. But with over 40% of people in the developing world living in the poorly understood informal economy, and with at least 40% of all losses resulting from everyday disasters, their knowledge is crucial. When the UN established a new framework for reducing disasters in 2005, many civil society organisations gathered there saw the opportunity to join together to work more effectively. So in 2007, the Global Network of Civil Society Organisations for Disaster Reduction was formed. Their shared action, Views from the Frontline, was launched in 2009 to learn from the experience of people at the front line. It's consulted over 85,000 people about progress in disaster risk reduction. The information they gather reflects real life for billions, real life like that experienced by the inhabitants of Nueva Siapa.
Strengthening the resilience of communities like these in the face of the many threats they face starts with knowledge. What are the particular threats, consequences, actions and barriers which communities identify?
It's people at the front line, communities and civil society organisations who have experience and knowledge of many of these factors. Local knowledge of risks and resilience is an invaluable resource, but it is often locked up in communities.
Frontline is a programme that uniquely finds out from local people what threats they face.
Each time we carry out views from the front line, we also carry out consultative meetings, creating an opportunity for exchange of ideas, exchange of knowledge.
Frontline starts with individual conversations with community members, leaders, civil society organisation representatives and local government officers talking about the threats they face. In Central America, many people, like Albertina, have been consulted, over 6,000 in total. Frontline mobilises civil society organisations to conduct structured conversations which, though straightforward, capture valuable knowledge. The conversations ask, what do you know about the threats you face, the consequences of them, the actions you can take, and the barriers to change. Threats. Frontline studies highlight many threats of environmental, social, economic and political origins, for example storms and floods, crime and violence, pollution, conflict and poverty. Consequences. What impacts do these threats have on the lives and livelihoods of you, your household and your community? For example, on education, health, family stability, social cohesion and local business. Actions. What capacity do you and your community have to take action against these threats? Frontline respondents highlight community coordination and self-organisation, action and learning, partnerships, strengthening local governance, and access to resources as the main means of building local resilience. Barriers. What factors beyond your control lead to these threats? Unplanned and unmanaged development at national and local level, poor planning, short-term business decision-making, poor infrastructure, economic decisions and political instability all generate threats which have to be tackled beyond local level. At local level, the consultations form the basis for community consultation and reflection, resulting in action plans, encouraging wider dialogue and partnerships and supporting local implementation. What is unique about Frontline is its ability to gather the thousands of individual conversations together and to analyse what people say, combining local knowledge at local, national and even global level. Frontline employs qualitative analysis, working with words rather than numbers, to combine the many records of conversations together and analyse this data. The analysis allows the many individual conversations to be gathered together as local risk knowledge, informing local and national government implementation and providing complementary local monitoring and accountability. The one conversation with Albertina is multiplied by over 100 in Tegucigalpa, by over 1,000 in Honduras, by over 6,000 in Central America, and by over 12,000 across Latin America, giving a picture of people's resilience to the threats they face and revealing what needs to change to strengthen it at local level, national and regional level. What are the headlines? Across the whole of Central America, a huge majority, 90% of disasters prioritised by respondents are everyday. People put floods, insecurity and drought as the highest priorities. The many conversations move from looking at the most critical threats to asking what can be done to strengthen resilience to them. How can we build resilience? Local communities know what actions are possible at local level and what barriers need to be tackled for there to be progress. Here are the actions and barriers identified in these conversations for two of the highest priority threats. There are clear messages here for everyone concerned to strengthen the resilience of communities. Whilst the conversations reveal many possible actions, they also show that lack of knowledge, resources, and poor government are barriers to progress. Local reality is complex, with many different factors affecting the resilience of local populations. Knowledge, resources, local governance, maintenance of law and order, community mobilisation and poverty reduction are critical actions to address these threats. Behind these headlines, Frontline has the ability to examine the particular views and needs of different localities, right down to community level, as well as contrasting rural and urban priorities and the perspectives of different community members. The data provides a unique insight into how policies addressing threats of all types are translating into action and the priorities for action which local people identify. This is an important evidence base for all those concerned with strengthening resilience to consider their implementation priorities, including national government, local government, civil society organisations, and all others concerned with strengthening the resilience of communities. From straightforward individual conversations to a database combining thousands of responses, Frontline makes local knowledge available to the communities and civil society organisations who gather it, and also to all those with a concern in learning from local experience of disasters, everyday and extraordinary. It provides valuable evidence to guide local budgeting and implementation, national planning, and to monitor frameworks concerned with strengthening resilience, in particular the Hyogo Framework for Action, the Sustainable Development Goals, and the Climate Treaty. Frontline provides a valuable resource and opportunity for action at local, national and international level, based on its unique ability to gather and share local experience of threats, consequences, actions and barriers, providing a unique local perspective on building resilience. Get involved by supporting Frontline, by participating in it, and by making use of the unique local knowledge of risk and resilience it provides.